Now, the ANC Women's League in the Northwest is calling for justice after the murder of one of their members. Her husband, a prominent ANC MP, was arrested for her alleged murder yesterday. Now, Jennifer Mohlomi was brutally killed at her house in November last year. The suspect is expected to appear in court on Monday. For more on this, we are now joined by Bitsa Lenkopane from the ANC Women's League in the Northwest. Thank you so much, Bitsa, for joining me this afternoon. Of course, you know, we've seen on Facebook that there's been outcries from the suspect, from the victim of this GBV violence. And the question, of course, now is, why was nothing being done? Why was she not being taken care of when she was having all of these outcries on Facebook?
Yeah, greetings to the listeners and the viewers. Maybe we need to agree that as the ANC Women's League, our main focus is mainly campaigning and creating awareness, especially on issues that affect women, including the gender-based violence. We are always teaching our own that there are signs that you will always note that shows that where you are might be exposing you to the risk of the gender-based violence. But we are always raising this as the Women's League, that our own people who are taught, especially those who understand better, because when you look at the profile of Comrade Jennifer, she led in quite a number of structures that are related to the Women's League that are within the ANC, that we agree she had a better understanding of gender-based violence. But this thing comes psychologically. You see it, and that's why I think she was able to say it, but she has never formally reported it. But that's how we always experience it, that people tend to, some even report it to court and they tend to withdraw the cases. There's so many challenges that we go through that really lead us to this point where we now lose our own.
Now, let's talk about if something like this were to happen in the future. What will the ANC Women's League, what will you be doing to make sure that, you know, this doesn't happen? Because now it seems a little bit more reactive than preventative in a way. So what can you do to make sure that this doesn't happen again?
Remember, as the Women's League, we are not working alone. We are not working in isolation with the issue of gender-based violence, because sometimes we also stand a risk as the ambassadors or the champions who act against gender-based violence. Now, some of the things, we also respect privacy of individuals. You might be able to see it. We have a case that just this week in Delareyville, where a woman, we noticed it through the referral by the clinic. And when we were to act by removing the woman to a place of safety, when she was just about to be carried, she went back and she said she was hungry and she can't stay with her loved one. They called them loved one, these people who are murderers, who are masquerading into loved ones. So it's a very difficult situation, but we are always saying we partner with NPOs, we partner with faith-based organizations, we partner with a lot of even private sector to deal with this matter. But most of the time, those that we lose are those that sometimes are with us to deal with, to handle these matters, only to find that they are able to handle others, but they are unable to handle themselves.
Let's talk about, you know, what you as the Women's League will be doing to make sure that justice is being served here.
You know, in the area, Kanana, where we'll be on Monday, I can tell you that this is actually our red spot. Women are being killed almost every day in that area. Even on Monday, we will be there standing for Jennifer, but there are two other young girls that the other one was killed last year around October. The other one is standing in around February. Both were killed, and the perpetrators are still in there and they are applying for bail. So on Monday, we'll be having the other one, and it will then be Jennifer. So we are saying it becomes the case of Jennifer is the one that disturbed us a lot, because The person who is a suspect at this moment, because he's still a suspect, the person who is a suspect, who is the husband to Jennifer, is a lawmaker, because he's a member of parliament and is our deployee. The ANC has always trained its members and its deployees on how to understand that the rights for women are human rights, and the character of the ANC that we are a league of has never given anybody a permission to take life.
Mentioning that, it's an ANC MP that allegedly murdered his wife. Now, the ANC, we always hear that, as an organization, as a party, they fight for GBV and for women's rights and all of that. But now it's within their own structures that something like this has happened within your own structures. It is quite sad, to see this happening. So surely this must be an even bigger wake-up call for the ANC to fight GBV, isn't it?
True that. That's why we are going to be up on Monday. We will be with the young people through the Youth League, the YCL, the SSCP. We'll be with other NPOs who are also saying we will join hands together with the Women's League to stand and say we will not agree to any bail. And from there, we are still going to get deeper into having to follow how the law takes its course and to the latter. And at the end, we will continue to tell the ANC that not in the name of the organization that we belong to, that we are a league of, and the society must not see the ANC as an organization of murderers or suspects. Whoever does that, we are going to distance ourselves to call that person our own. It will never be that when we get there on Monday, we no longer have a comrade Monday. We no longer have a deployee of the ANC. But we have a suspect, Busiso Kula, who is now to appear to apply for a bail. In this case, the ANC Women's League have always committed to be on the side of the victim. So this case, we are standing with the family of Mutlomi, whether the court has already ruled or not, but we will continue to support the victims. And in this case, that family and the kids, we cannot have a situation where the father becomes a suspect. It can't be that the law of this country can be misinterpreted up to the point of making a father the suspect. Remember, this girl was killed on the 25th of November last year. Now, this is the investigations that has actually revealed a point of having arrested this suspect yesterday. So that is why we distance ourselves from anybody, be it an MPL. It's not our MPL starting Monday. It's a suspect who has to stand. Yeah. And we say the ANC must also respond to that. We will never be a league of the ANC that does not take life of women, any other person serious.
Thank you so much, Bitsa Lenkopane from the ANC Women's League in the Northwest. Of course, the gruesome death of an ANC MP's wife, whom he killed. He will be appearing in court tomorrow.